Welcome back, everybody, to the World Championship Series. We're here in Cologne, Germany, for the last day of the round of 32. As in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to be making our way to Toronto, Canada, for the season finals. We have 2 tickets available today, and we're about to play for 1 plane ticket to North America, joined by Todd and Roddy. A big match coming up now. I know a lot of people have traveled here today to see Jaedong play. Also, we have the possibility to have 2 German players at the season finals as well. This is a big match.
Absolutely. At the start of the day, I really felt that despite everything, despite all the jokes and what we kind of expected, that Jaedong was a pretty big favorite going into this group. But now I really don't know. GunGFuBanDa looked extremely solid in his first series of the day. And Jaedong, he had to work so hard for that victory against Elfie. Even the games he won, they were not one-sided whatsoever. And I think his PvZ is quite all right. I'm not that familiar with it. I know in PvP, GunGFuBanDa is really good. PvZ, I think, is going to be quite good as well. I think it's a close one, really.
What are your first initial thoughts on here before we look at some talking points, Todd?
Jaedong, he struggled a little bit against Elfie. I feel like GunGFuBanDa is just better in general. So I pretty much agree with Kevin here, and I think it's going to be pretty tough for the Dong to succeed.
All right, well, let's bring up the first talking point then between these 2 players. We mentioned at the start of the day, Jaedong has 1 matchup to practice for. Makes it really easy for him to train for this group. But at the same time, this is a bit of a problem too, isn't it? You expose yourself, you show your style, your builds, your strategies. Doesn't this then, the more he plays, become a weakness the longer the day goes on?
I think, yeah, it's possible, but it definitely, has enough builds to pick from. And I actually feel like there was a few games or maps in which he didn't particularly play that well, like build otherwise. For example, going for Mutas, I think it was Iron Fortress, not that good. I feel like if he had gone for Roach Hydra Viper, he would have won that game in 12 minutes instead of 30 plus.
Well, he chose and liked Mutalis a lot. That's something which obviously now GunGFuBanDa coming into this is going to know about. Yeah. He can start to adjust stylistically towards this, makes it a little bit easier, Roddy.
I really think this is going to be a much more Roach Hydra Viper series by Jaedong, though. I felt it was kind of the first series, he was freestyling a little bit, the burrow play as well. That is a cool meta play, but that's not something you do twice in a best of 3, and especially not against someone like Elfie, who's not particularly well known for his, quick 3-base or something like that. So I was a little bit surprised by the builds he went for. I think this series we're going to see a lot more of the Jaedong we've seen in the last 2 months. Johan and I have casted a couple games in the Dingit as well, where he just went for Roach Hydra Viper timings, and he executed them pretty well. His ZvP has looked better in some of the previous games that I've seen than his first series of the day. I think this is going to be better, but is that going to be enough, though?
All right, well, as you can see on screen here, we have Coda being played second. Vani Research Station is third. I want to talk about that map now before we go over to Iron Fortress. Vani Research Station, in this matchup, gold base, gold base, gold base. Jaedong mentioned this yesterday in practice. He said that every Korean Zerg on the ladder over there is doing this. What are your thoughts for this, especially if we get to that decider map?
It's interesting because earlier today I think he vetoed Vani and he actually picked Echo, and this time he decided man, Echo is so difficult, so I want to play Vani instead. But yeah, talk about us.
Maybe it's because he's playing against a Protoss that plays a lot more standard, supposedly. But yeah, Vani and the gold bases, especially if you don't practice that much against it, I think it's going to be difficult to play on. You talked about some of the games that we casted together. I think back then he beat Showtime and on Vani with some very, very strong gold-based play, which seemed really hard to play against. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes if they play on this map.
All right, well, let's load up the first map then. So it's going to be Iron Fortress, I think it was the first map. Did I get that right? No? Yes. My memory's good enough. Whew. Iron Fortress, first map between these 2 players. We saw Jaedong play this map a little bit earlier on, Roddy. How do you think GunGFuBanDa is going to come into this and adjust differently towards Jaedong compared to what Elfie did, or don't you think that's the case?
It's a little bit tricky, because if I was GunGFuBanDa and I was watching that series and you had the full vision like we have as observers, you'd probably look at it as man, if he does that build against me, I'm just going to go 3-4 gate pressure with some Stalkers. He doesn't have Zergling speed, but that is a very hard call to make, because if you do wipe in 4 Stalkers or 5 Stalkers and suddenly speed finishes up and you're forced to recall out, or you even end up losing those Stalkers, then you're in a little bit of a disastrous position. It's tricky. What Jaedong did does mess a little bit with maybe the mindset that GunGFuBanDa had all along. I'm not sure how I would approach it if I was him. What would you do, Todd?
I think in the first game in all of my games actually, I tried to play solid. Just play with Blink Stalkers, take a third base, scout with hallucination, and then from there kind of see what he's doing, because Jaedong, I feel like even though his execution is good and he's good at adjusting, if you can really read what he's doing and you play a straight-up game against him and you play it well, I do think that you can win.
All right, well,
Are you worried about, sorry, Sean, well, if you would just play very standard and straight up, your robo is pretty late with builds like that. How would you deal with the burrowed Zergling?
I think if you scout early on with hallucination very quickly, if you think there's a chance he will do that, you can pick up on the fact that speed didn't start and yet he mined 100 gas, and then you can realize that it's burrow, and then you will send your probe earlier to the third base and plan down a pylon and cannon earlier.
Okay, cool.
All right, well, GunGFuBanDa, fantastic start, debut within the World Championship Series, 2 wins, of course, in Challenger, and now here today. He looked confident, he looked happy, he was thriving with the support in the crowd, and he just didn't really and wasn't making mistakes in that series. I'm expecting him to continue on in this one as well.
Yeah, I do think he's going to play a little wilder in this series as well. I've got a weird feeling that we are going to see, at least in one of the 3 games, Iron Fortress is very hard to choose, but in one of the other games, I think he's going to do something very crazy early on, or maybe a massive 2-base all-in, and then in the other 2 games, or maybe just the other 1 game, if he ends up winning it, he's going to play very solid. But I totally agree with you. He looked very calm. For someone who makes his first WCS Premier League appearance, the way he played those PvPs against a pretty crazy player is like, well, that's actually a job very well done, sir.
When did you both first find out about him as a rising player in the European scene? Maybe you played him on the ladder a couple of times.
I actually think he was already playing ladder at the time that I used to work in this building. So like 2011, 2012, he was already a ladder player. I think he's just been slowly rising to the top. But yeah, the first result that truly impressed me was probably the Fragbite Masters, where he finished up as runner-up. Like, we knew that he was like one of the good, like a solid Protoss player in Europe, but I didn't know he was that good. I didn't know he was capable of taking MMA to Game 7.
And for you, Todd, your experiences with him in the past?
I think about the same time. I mentioned already the series that I had against him in WCS, which was the last match. And he didn't leave the best impression. After beating me in first game with the proxy, he danced units. So then we had this very, very long last game on Overgrowth, which you probably remember, where I had Mass Tempest.
Oh, yes, I do.
Remember that. And I asked him if he wanted to dance before finishing him off. So not the best of experience. But since then, he seems to have improved a lot. It's actually very impressive.
I mean, he's grown leaps and bounds here. It's the biggest moment in his career today. I mean, he's got 2 top 4 finishes in EPS. You know, that finals, I think, was a fantastic moment in Fragbite Masters, but for him to beat Jaedong on this stage, to play in Canada in the season finals, that's a moment which every single player that, the reason why they compete in the World Championship Series is for a moment like this.
Yeah, for every player, it's truly beautiful to finish top 16 WCS Premier League and even making it to Canada. That's absolutely amazing. But if you do it on this stage against a player like Jaedong, it doesn't even matter in what shape Jaedong may be. You will always have that result behind your name. Like, I won WCS Group H over here. Final series, won my group, top Jaedong. Like, that is something that you can be very proud of.
And you can be part of the I Beat Jaedong club, which very few people are part of.
All right, we know, well, I'm not actually sure who the crowd is cheering for this one. The German player, Jaedong. It sounds like Jaedong, boys. So I think it is Jaedong.
It's a little bit of both.
We've had Jaedong chants, we've had GunGFuBanDa chants. All right, before we go to the game, I need your prediction, expert analysis. Which way do you think this is more than likely to go towards? Roddy?
Todd first.
Roddy,
you first.
Roddy?
Damn it. In the start of the day, I said Jaedong, but I kind of changed my mind. I actually think GunGFuBanDa can take this series 2-1.
All right, and Todd?
I think, even though I think it's going to be close, I think I'm going to go to Dongzhu. I want to put you on the spot, actually. This button here that you close all the way to the top kind of bothers me. So I want you to make a prediction. And if you're wrong, you're going to have to open one of these buttons.
Okay, let me think. Who would I go for?
Now you really need to think hard.
I know, I don't get to make these calls anymore since I've picked up the hosting mic. I mean, I guess Red Eye used to do it, so I might as well. I will go with Jaedong. All right, casters are ready for the game. It's time to head over. It's going to be Kalaris and some expert analysis with Pig as well.
We've got to live up to some big words there. Expert analysis. I'm hoping for you, Pig. I'm hoping for you.
I'll talk some words. There'll be some StarCraft on the screen. We'll have fun either way.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so here we go. It's the winners match with GunGFuBanDa going up against Jaedong. And now a lot of people obviously look at this and expecting Jaedong to do well. I mean, looking at this group, people are expecting Jaedong to do well despite the volatility and all of these Protoss being as crazy as they are. Is he able to do it here against GunGFuBanDa?
I think it's going to be a tough match. I think definitely he's the favorite going into it. He's got so much experience, you know, no matter where he gets in a hard spot, he plays it pretty well once he's up against that wall.
Yeah.
I really think Jaedong's got a bit of an edge here, but I think GunGFuBanDa's he's going to make it hard for him. He's going to make this a really tough match.
All right, well, let's get into things. The first game in this best of 3, as we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner, it is our German representing Planet Key Dynamics. It is GunGFuBanDa. Serious face. Wants to win this one.
That's the face of a killer right there.
Face of a killer. Speaking of another killer, towards the bottom left-hand corner, it is our blue Zerg. He is the tyrant representing evil geniuses. It's Jaedong. Ooh, you see that little glance over towards GunGFuBanDa? Did you see that? Get kill this nerd.
You know, I was a little bit worried for Jaedong before the match started. The camera was on him, his bottom lip was out a little bit, but he's assumed the Jaedong face there, you know, no emotion slipping out. He looks focused, he looks like he's in the zone.
All right, so let's see if we can stay in it. GunGFuBanDa had a interesting, of course, we haven't seen much of his PVZ lately, but he had an interesting series against Lambo in the grand finals of the ESL Meisterschaft a few weeks ago, where unfortunately for him, he did lose out in that series. It was quite the close series, but a lot of what we saw from people like Lambo was the kind of mid-game focus and just being able to eventually run over like someone like GunGFuBanDa. So is Jaedong able to kind of do similar things like that? Of course, we already saw how he played out his first series, which was, you know, pretty successful despite all the craziness that was going on.
Absolutely. I think Jaedong is going to be potentially shifting more towards that Roach Hydra style in this game, as he has showed some muta play, and it's showed itself to be a little bit temperamental, even when he was surprising Elfie, kind of denying the scouting of that Spire to the last second. And here we go. This is what I love to see, that drone heading out to that third base. It's good to see that Jaedong's willing to take some risks. He's not just going to play ultra conservative. He's going to go for that 3 hatchery before pool build.
Helps a lot that he was able to spot up this Nexus all to up to the top left-hand corner, as he sent his Overlord in the right direction to start off. So quite fortunate here for Jaedong to start things out, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You know, you get that first scout. It's really, really fortuitous. You can see that Nexus first. You go, okay, I'm going to go as greedy as I want. And it is going to be interesting to see if he drops down a gas to get a Ling speed, maybe at an okay timing. But realistically, there's no pressure from either side. They're both doing the most efficient build they possibly can. And from here, they get to just skip that early phase. Both say who can race up the economy, who can be more efficient. And interestingly, we do see that fast gas from Jaedong. Now, I'm really curious. He seemed really obsessed with Burrow in that last series, and in the interview, you know, he did make out like, oh, it was something I just kind of did on the fly, but Jaedong's not one to give away any of his tricks, and I feel like he might be going for that Burrow before Zergling speed once more. It
would be cool if he did. I mean, on a map like this, I mean, everyone knows it's difficult for a Protoss to take a third base, never mind taking a third base when it has been delayed slightly and your opponent could be conspiring against you to even just put on some pressure after that.
Especially on this map, you know, those wide open areas between that natural and that third, it's even scarier than normal. But we do see a fast evolution chamber coming out of Jaedong. So what I'd be assuming he's going to be going for is probably a +1 melee build, something along those lines, get a bit more mobility. And I think this is actually one of the only maps in the pool which is super friendly towards Zergling play. Rotterdam was asking me about it. He was saying, you know, what do you think? I feel like Zergling plays great on this map.
Yeah.
And I've got to agree, we do see that fast +1 melee kicking in now.
There's a probe hidden over to the right-hand side here for GunGFuBanDa, so could make use of that later on to maybe put on some pressure himself. But the +1 melee here for Jaedong, what is it designed for? What is the kind of things he's either looking out for in a defensive manner or looking out for it in an aggressive manner? How is it used?
It's really going to just boost up the aggressive power of those Zerglings. dealing with fast pressures, because he's getting that before he even starts Zergling speed. I mean, by the time a Nexus First can do anything, any gateway pressure, that's going to be kicking in. And those Zerglings will be able to shut down pylons, even go toe-to-toe with Zealots, which normally they have a tough time against.
All right, well, 4 gateways have been thrown down here for GunGFuBanDa, and this probe is on the move. He's on the hunt. So 5 gateways, 6 gateways. Oh my god, GunGFuBanDa. This is a lot of aggression he's going to be putting on here, but with the +1 melee started as quickly as it is, surely he has a bit of an easier time against this at least.
Absolutely, and look, he's even taking this tricky gas down on the bottom side of his natural. It's kind of a fake gas. He doesn't really need it at all. He's just showing it, but unfortunately for him, Jaedong hasn't actually seen it. His Stalker chased it away. Jaedong, though, has no idea this is coming just yet. There's no Roach Warren in sight. And if there's enough Zealots up, even +1 melee Zerglings are going to have a tough time. This is the first time Jaedong sees this pressure coming, but does he realize what's behind it?
Yeah, he's thrown down Sport Crawlers, so right now he doesn't really have much of a clue. Investing into those is going to be pretty much for nothing at the moment, unless, for example, the Mothership Core flies too close to them, but that's not really going to happen. For now, there are pylons on this right-hand side. He does spot one of them as well, though, so a lot of Lings are going to get into a production here.
And a very nice surround, luckily managing to pick off some of these units while they're in low numbers. This is what Jaedong needs to do. He needs to keep surrounding these numbers while they're in small groups and go from there. Now he realizes there's pylons coming in, there's more units warping in, seeing these Zealots and Stalkers grouping up at the back. Jaedong is in panic mode now, just massing Zerglings, but he doesn't have a Roach Warren. He can't let the numbers get out of control. He needs to fight this while the army is small, or those Zerglings aren't going to get the surface area.
It's so funny that Mothership Core is actually taking quite a bit of damage to that Sport Crawl after I mentioned it before, but this is 6 gateways worth of production. This is very, very powerful. He's going to actually get this pylon at the back here by the looks of things. If he's not careful, he's actually just going straight for the wraparound on this army with the Time Warp there. The Mothership Core has fallen, so he can't really, get out of here at any time, and didn't have any energy for the recall anyway because he'd used that Time Warp, and he's been able to bottle up the Zerglings down towards the bottom quite well.
Oh, those Zerglings running to that choke. Beautiful Zealot warp-ins from GungFu, and he's just caught Jaedong by surprise here. A little bit of a risky build, skipping this Roach Warren, and we can see it's backfiring here. Jaedong just trickling out Zerglings, but how's he ever going to get enough to overwhelm this? You know, picking off a few Zealots at the back, though. Jaedong finding the pickoffs where he can get them.
Yeah, more Zerglings are on the way from all of these bases. It's somehow, some way, he's got to try and amass. But as he's amassing, I mean, there's just going to be so many Zealots in. Is it much easier to shut this down with a Roach Warren is what I'm trying to say.
Roaches are exactly what you need against this sort of build. These Zerglings are doing okay because of that upgrade, and they're actually getting a bit of surface area here, but once again, the Zealots on the backside just choke up this area. There's limited surface area. The Queens are kind of at the back, and look at this. Unit numbers are just going down and down, and Jaedong is just slowly getting whittled down, and this Protoss ball is growing in size at every moment.
Yeah, good positioning from the Stalkers as well to allow the warping in Zealots to get through, despite it being a small choke point. So they were able to tank up the Zerglings quite well at the front. It's only the Queens that really stand in the way of them. Good transfuse there to keep them alive. More Zerglings will end up filtering on through, but still the firepower is in favor here of GunGFuBanDa, who is gonna actually continue on through all of this, and there's not much energy left for transfuses. These Queens will fall pretty quickly
running away. This is that desperate moment as a Zerg where you go, oh, if I just had a bit more time, you know, I could have got that lair. Maybe I could have thrown down a Roach Warren. Feel like you've been a little bit cheated at this point as Jaedong, and you're pulling back. You're trying to find a way you can hold this, pulling the drones, but this is a desperate move at this point.
GunGFuBanDa looking for a quick 1-0 here to start off this series. He's getting on top of the drones. The Queen's trying desperately to hold on, buying time for some of these more Zerglings, but it's not going to do it. GG. GunGFuBanDa, our German, takes the first game. Whoa, look at how happy he is with that. I mean, of course you're going to be when you take the first game in the best of 3 off the Tyrants.
He has just such a determined look on his face. I like that. A little bit of satisfaction, but immediately back to his game face. He's just going, I'm ready for this, you know? And the confidence with that build is what really strikes me the most. That was just, you know, I'm going to go for this build. He knew exactly where to place his pylons. Jaedong didn't get wind of it early enough, and Jaedong never really got a chance to get an Overlord in on the far side of the base to come in and scout for anything else. So just a really good choice. On that map, you can't really check exactly what the Protoss is up to. Beautiful time to go for that build.
Well, our second map is going to be Code here, Pig, to really decide this and keep this going. And the thing is that with GunGFuBanDa having these kind of builds available to him, Jaedong surely can't really take any risks now. Surely he has to open up in a standard way can be on lockdown and make sure that these kinds of things aren't going to occur again.
Absolutely. You know, I was impressed at the start of that game seeing the 3-hatch before pool, even if it's a reaction to the Nexus first, trying to get that economy up. But maybe adding the melee upgrade on top of that, maybe it was just pushing a little bit too hard, a little bit too fast. I feel like if Jaedong can maybe be a bit more comfortable in that sort of mid-game phase, he should be able to contest with a player like GunGFu.
Yeah.
I mean, GunGFu's a fantastic player, but I think what's always made me so impressed with this player is that he's confident, almost cocky to a point where he's not afraid to throw out these builds. And I think Jaedong needs to get into a position where he can exercise those experienced Zerg muscles of his.
All right, well, we're getting onto it. Coda will be the map. GunGFuBanDa at the moment in this best of 3 leads 1-0. He is 1 game away, not only from going to Toronto to the round of 16, but banging himself a lot more prize money and a lot more WCS points. As we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner, it is that man himself. In the red, representing Germany and Planet Key Dynamics, it is GunGFuBanDa. Facing off against the Panda up to the top left. It is our blue Zerg representing evil geniuses. It is Jaedong.
If there was ever a map to regain your confidence, to go into a very safe, solid sort of playstyle, Coda is the map for that. This is a map that doesn't really give any special advantages to GunGFu. Jaedong should feel confident here, getting into that more mid-game focused stage. GunGFu, on the other hand, though, he is a player who he used to, at least last year when I practiced with him quite a bit, favor quite a few different odd gateway timings. So he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and especially some of those strange sentry sort of pressures we saw Elfie do in the previous game really caught Jaedong off guard. So I'd like to see Jaedong just get on top of that scouting, play very, very solidly, and we do see him going for that hatch first.
I mean, GunGFuBanDa here with a game in hand, does he throw caution to the wind and just say, well, I'll try something like that again, and if I get a 2-0, it's Jaedong, I'm in the round of 16.
Why not? Why not?
I could.
I think it's a great, it's not a bad move at all, but it comes down to, does he have the right build for the map, for the situation? You don't want to do something in the same vein as what you've just done. Jaedong's going to be looking out for that. Yeah. But there's definitely an opportunity to hide some DT tech to do a fast Blinkstalker timing. There's lots of different builds that Protoss has at their availability that can just kill a Zerg player, and it's usually the strongest Protoss players, those PvZ masterminds, that are the best at doing that. Interestingly enough, Jaedong here, he knows this isn't his tournament life on the line, and he's going to take that risk, blindly going for that 3 hatchery before pool. I like it. It only really suffers against the proxy gate. He'll see a cannon rush in time to react, and this gives him a nice edge against the gateway first opening of GunGFu.
I mean, in the games that we've seen here from Jaedong, it's been either there's been more gas commitment to slight tricks on his side compared to what you normally see from conventional Zergs, right? So is there anything that a Protoss on the other side can do against these kind of tricky moves from Jaedong, or are they basically just forced to kind of sit back, play their own games, and not really react to that too much?
I think what we've seen so far is that sometimes these tricks haven't worked out because these Protoss players have been willing to take risks. They're not predictable at all. We saw in the very first series, Elfie sometimes seeing a gas opening and going, I don't care, I'm going to do a gateway pressure. There's no Zergling speed. Suddenly Jaedong's caught on the back foot. Likewise, in that last game, it was like, I think I can squeeze out this melee upgrade. GunGFu didn't know about it, but he happened to commit to a build that countered it. So whenever you take these little risks as Jaedong, you've got to not let it affect your mindset when they don't work out. I like that idea of mixing in a few risks here and there. Maybe this is the way he likes to play it, and you're not going to lose every single gamble. No one has that much poor luck. So I feel like Jaedong, if he's taking just a few small risks, he's already been punished a few times today. I think his luck should be about to turn.
I like that. I like what you're saying about not affecting his mindset. I mean, of course it's Jaedong, and nothing probably really affects his mindset unless you're SOS from 2013. But aside from that, it's something that, could throw other players off, definitely, with these small things. But for now, Jaedong is the beast. He is the tyrant. He'll try and hunker on down. He's getting himself 2 gases off of this. He sees 2 gateways at the front. Now, he's got to be a little bit wary as to if there's any more gateways going on in the mid. And that's usually what this Overlord is for, but
this is really interesting, actually, because there's still only 1 gas for GunGFu, and it looks like he wants to do the same build as the previous game, potentially, because realistically, what else can he do without that gas? And we see this probe has snuck right through Jaedong's lines over here on the left-hand side of the map, coming right up through the middle. Some beautiful probe positioning here, and he's going to set up that pylon, and he's going to be dropping a flower of Actually, not gateways.
A
He's dropping
flower of
Stargate.
Stargate.
a flower of single Stargate, that's right. This is actually your 3-gate Zealot pressure with the Oracle follow-up, so the build starts to make sense to me now.
I was going to say, that's the saddest flower I've ever seen, man. It's got no petals, it's just that small little bit in the middle that I don't know the name of.
It's a stem. He's got the stem of the Stargate there, and it's still a very strong build, and what you'll notice with this is that this is not an all-in by any means. By skipping that gas, he's had a lot more minerals to both chrono boost out probes while affording these gateways, so this is a nice build from GunGFu. Jaedong coming in for that surround though.
Here come the Zealots. They will be able to trade off against these Zerglings, all right, to be honest with you. Pushing those away, it's all about the 3 Queens and the Roaches especially that are the real power punch of this defense. Likewise, he's also got Spore Crawlers about to finish up pretty soon, so the Oracle can't really do too much.
Nice and cool under pressure. Jaedong did poke in with that Overlord. He did see the Stargate, and he's reacting with those Spore Crawlers, getting out 8 Roaches to make sure even if more units are warped in, he's completely safe. And what are we going to see behind this? Drones and a lair. This is just a really nice move from Jaedong, even going to try and capture these Zealots, stop them from getting out of there, and this is just a perfect response from him this game.
Good stuff. Of course, technically, I guess, could have recalled those out there with the Mothership Core, but, you know, it's blow for blow. Hydralisk then comes in pretty quickly here for Jaedong. He knows exactly what is going on. There's the Void Ray in production as well, which is probably going to be used here to commit towards a 3rd base and try and hold it, but if he had a ton of Roaches, could Jaedong do something with... Hydralisk, could he do something with this?
He definitely could. I mean, we're probably going to be seeing a 3rd base out of GunGFu very soon. He's got that Forge down. He's looking like he wants to play the later game. And a fast Hydra Ling timing could be fantastic. You know, the Protoss has committed to some large aggression here. They haven't got a lot done with it. They've delayed their tech. I mean, let's take a look at that sentry count. There's 2 sentries right now. He's got 3, 4, 5 force fields between them. He's not going to be able to hold a frontal attack, and that's why he has this Void Ray. He's saying, well, I can hold off Roach Ling with that air superiority. Suddenly, when Hydralisks arrive, though, he could be in a lot of trouble.
And Jaden's going to be looking for that timing of that 3rd base. He has an Overlord down there, is a little bit weak, doesn't know about the Hydralisk. Then the Overlord starts moving towards that 3rd base location while the Oracle flies in. And this is a big deal, because if he springs into action with a lot of units, you know, I think there's definitely the room to punish here, surely.
Absolutely. You know, GunGFu's got to be kind of thinking, how can I get myself out of this situation? You know, I'm going to just go down my standard route, but this Oracle hasn't killed a single unit. It's low on life. Okay, I can see a Hydra Den. I can see some good drones, but he's got to feel that he's a little bit behind at this point, and he has got to find a way to push forward. It looks like he's opting for sentries and blink. It's that solid Protoss defensive style, but playing from a bit behind, you are a little bit vulnerable. So the next big choice, I think, comes from Jaedong. Is he going to commit to that timing or not?
Void Ray finds this Overlord, which obviously has already found that 3rd base. So, yeah, you're right with the blink and the sentries, etc. He's going to try and whack Jaedong with that baguette, and those Hydralisks, well, hopefully that's some bread. Oh, even there's a pylon actually over to for the 4th base here. So he could actually warp in something and try and deny that soon, could GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, it's a nice little location. You could even wait till that hatchery is almost finished.
Yeah.
Really wait till the Zerg thinks, okay, my 4th is about to be up. That's a big long-term investment. And suddenly it's gone to a couple of Zealots. In the meantime, though, we don't see Jaedong putting down that infestation pit. It doesn't look like he wants to go for Hive here. It looks like he wants to commit to this timing, and it's going to be a huge Roach Hydra timing. He's going to be coming with a total of about 18 Hydralisks, rallying in even more Roaches behind it. And we can see he's already clearing out the rocks for it. The hallucinated Phoenix Scouts are getting shut down by these Spore Crawlers. So GunGFu, he's having a tough time figuring out exactly what Jaedong's plan is.
2 Zealots swapped in up to the top right to eventually deny that once it ends up getting going. And he's actually just going to walk in before it even finishes. So there is potential here that Jaedong can cancel that and keep that alive.
Yes,
But let's finish anyway.
You know, I don't think Jaedong minds too much about losing that. He knows he needs to use his army right now. GunGFu wants more than anything for Jaedong to turn his whole army around, but Jaedong's just splitting off a few units up there. He's going to accept that loss, but he needs to hit now because look at that supply lead. There's so many Roaches and Hydras, and this DT Shrine, this tech's about to come in. Maybe if GunGFu can get some DTs, he can buy enough time to defend here.
Yeah, it doesn't have an Overseer at all, so if he warps some of those in, that would be very, very important. It actually revelates the entire army here, so yes, you can see it, but it's actually sieging up this location. There's going to be a few cannons already actually going down at the front of this base, and DT is actually going to work on some of these units as well. As I said before, there was no Overseer. The Overseer morphing in now is way over the other side of the map. There's one right at the back as well, but it's nowhere near for this to continue on.
What a beautiful move from GunGFu there. I was thinking, DT Shrine, are you mad investing in this when you're a little bit behind? But turns out he knew something we didn't. And he knew that this could potentially buy him the time he needs to get up more units. He's now morphing those 2 DTs into an Archon, trying to get more Stalkers out, more cannons. He wants to hang on. He needs to get to that 130, 140 supply mark to hold on against this Max Zerg. But Jaedong is looking relentless here.
Yeah, we're seeing the Overseer technically can come and join this fight whenever it needs to now. And even still, GunGFuBanDa doesn't really want to separate himself off down in towards this army. It's still quite the force indeed. 134 army supply against 47. This is now unstoppable here right now for Jaedong. As he's looking to tie up the series, he's lost a few workers at the back of all of this, but how do you stop this army here?
There's just too much Zerg here. I don't know if it can be done. There's just so many Roaches and Hydras coming. Jaedong being patient, still got units out in that open area between the 2 bases, and he's lured the Protoss down there for that Zerg sandwich. Tasty, tasty Protoss filling in there.
Nom 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 nom. There's actually not that really many sentries at all, so not many force fields, and they're all gonna fall down here at the 3rd base. As much as he tried to orchestrate a good defense, he had absolutely nothing really to be able to greet that. So he is taking massive amounts of damage. It's actually cleaning up quite a bit of it, but I imagine the reinforcements could, well, just do the business, completely seal this off.
Absolutely. It was an admirable attempt there from GunGFu after so much of his commitment into that early game pressure just completely floundered, did nothing. You know, he was quite far behind, and he almost hung on here, but as the second wave comes in, we see that it's spiraled out of control, and from here, GunGFu is going to have to accept defeat.
There you go, GG. Jaedong is able to tie up the series here in this best of 3. And make sure that he keeps his hopes alive for that first place, all importantly in this group. Because, to be honest with you, that's actually quite important. You want to go into a group with 2 second places, not necessarily 2 first places.
Absolutely. It really does make a big difference, actually, the seeding. And I think it's also a pride thing for Jaedong here. It's something, not only pride, but it's a testing of his own skill. He feels a bit unconfident in the Zerg vs Protoss matchup. He's struggled with it historically. You know, it's the matchup that's denied him his BlizzCon World Championship in 2013. And it's just a very tricky matchup for him, it seems. But in that game, he showed very good understanding, very on top of his scouting. I love that he just, in the midst of this pylon going up and this mothership pressuring him, he scouted in, saw the Stargate, saw what he needed to know, and from there it was a simple method of deflecting the pressure and then overwhelming in true Swarm style.
I've got to ask you, Pig, here, going into this group, do you feel Jaedong's having a bit of a harder time than some people expected, or do you think with the crazy nature of this group, I mean, obviously he dropped a map to Elfie, and now he dropped a map to GunGFuBanDa at the beginning of this series, Is he having a rougher time than people expected, or with the way the makeup of the group is it kind of to be a little bit expected? What do you think?
I'm really not sure. I think it's such a tough group, and we all knew there was going to be a lot of curveballs thrown at Jaedong.
Yeah, a lot of craziness.
Yeah, and he's struggled with them, but so far he's come out in the lead, even if by a fingernail in that first series, you know. He's at 1-1 now, tied with GunGFuBanDa, and maybe he feels like, oh, you know, this young player, I can't lose to him. But for GunGFu, this moment means so much to him. If he can come out of his group first place and go through to the round of 16, I can just imagine how amazing that would be to feel that as a 17-year-old.
All right, so 1 map stands between both of these players and the round of 16. One of them will be moving on to Toronto, the all-important ticket to Toronto. Season 2 finals have already become this kind of thing of mythic legend, going over to Toronto just because of how the events have been over there so far.
Canadian crowd does that, you know, it just creates that atmosphere. Every player wants to go over there and play.
Let's get into it. Game number 3, Varney Research Station here to round out the series as we have these 2 players facing off. Uh-oh. It just keeps happening. Spawning up to the north, it is our red Protoss representing Planet Key Dynamics. It's GunGFuBanDa. There it goes. Ominous. And down to the south, we have our blue Zerg representing evil geniuses. It is Jaedong. And at this point, Pig, The hunter may become the hunted.
Absolutely.
GunGFuBanDa is bringing the fight to Jaedong.
This is just so brave, and there's an element of poker in StarCraft sometimes. Are you willing to bluff, or are you actually just going to go all in and take that gamble? And I think being able to do that as a young player like GunGFuBanDa, you know, with so little experience on this stage, but managing to do that, it is a really, really brave move from him. Very courageous, shows a lot of confidence.
All right, so one gateway's down there already. Probe sticking around. So this is going to be quite the commitment to gateways by the looks of things. Oh, GunGFuBanDa. Yeah. You crazy machine, you, of all games to bring this out, of all opponents to bring this out on. Jaedong!
Oh, looks like he's going to be going for that hatch first on the gold base, and he doesn't necessarily have to go 3 hatch behind this.
This has become more common recently, though, right? Just gold bases on Varney?
It really has, and I think seeing the last 2 games in 3 hatch before pool in both of them, GunGFu might be thinking, you know what?
Is he going to miss this?
Oh, the Overlord changes direction, and that is absolutely massive. You know, GunGFu here, he's really hoping that 3rd hatchery goes down, and by the look of it, 17 supply.
Oh my god.
Looks like Jaedong is going to be opting for that 3rd hatchery.
Oh my god. Well, surely this is just a straight up loss. I mean, unless you have... Well, okay, it's Jaedong, he's pretty good.
The hatchery has gone down. It is official. This is almost always considered a build order loss, but there have been situations where magic can happen. Keep in mind, GunGFu still needs to micro these zealots exceptionally well. But it's just going to be so difficult for him to hang on. What's working in Jaedong's favor is that gold base is going to be finished up. He's probably going to cancel the 3rd base. But if he can keep the spawning pool alive, he can run drones to that gold base. And if the zealots don't get over there soon enough, maybe, just maybe, he can squeeze out some zerglings.
And he's not even going to notice these as he goes up into it. So... Well,
that's actually kind of in Jaedong's favor, that those drones will be mining gold minerals while this is all happening.
Yeah.
So Jaedong is now on a quest to buy time for this spawning pool finish. He needs to keep his units alive. He's cancelling his gas. He's cancelled his 3rd hatchery. He knows exactly what's happening. He has a sinking feeling in his stomach, but he is Jaedong. He's been up against the wall before, and he's worked his way out of these situations with micro. Right now, more than ever, he needs to have that sort of reaction. GunGFu doesn't seem to realize the gold base is up there. Hasn't sent a zealot up there yet, but he's just chasing these drones in circles. He needs to kill that spawning pool, or he needs to go and stop all of the mining. Right now, Jaedong is earning some minerals, and we see it right now.
Oh, 3 spine crawlers at that gold base. Now he realizes exactly what is going on. He needs to get over there fast. But at the same time, 6 zerglings in production. I don't know if they'll be able to buy enough time here against 4 zealots worth.
The zerglings are leaving as well. They're trying to run across the map. Oh my god, he needs some amazing hold position micro here. These drones need to hold position in front of these spine crawlers. These zealots cannot be allowed to kill them. But the spines are almost finishing, and once they're up, they're going to do so well against these zealots. Beautiful drone micro so far. Still 9 drones left against 10 probes, and the spine crawlers are finishing, and they are decimating these zealots.
Yeah, they're going to be able to hold on for now. He's been able to keep 6 drones alive against 9 probes, and he's in the probe line with the zerglings. Jaedong here with the decision making, able to be able to, on top of this production and on top of this economy. Now 5 zealots somehow have to break this position. I'm not sure it's doable here for GunGFuBanDa, despite it being 25 supply against 11. The zealots, they need to amass it more. They need to do more.
He can't take down this base. I don't think he can make it through these spine crawlers. He's trying in.
Oh, Micro's one out of the way there. Now the drones come off the line again. Have to fight on against this. But the spine crawlers are going to be enough to clean this up here. More zealots are coming in from the back here. But he's held on. He's held on as Jaedong against a triple hatch opener.
Oh my gosh, this is incredible. These zealots, they need to stop going in against these spines. He needs to go and kill the spawning pool, but he's trying to go for broke, but I don't think he can overwhelm it. The spine crawler micro.
Oh my god.
The only player that pulls back his individually hurt spine crawler is Jaedong, just showing us how it's done.
So still this Ling disrupting the income up towards the top as well, so it's not exactly the easiest of things for him to produce 2 zealots at any time. Now another few zerglings have coupled up here with this to continue harassing here GunGFuBanDa, and it's 15 supply against 15 supply in a situation where he macro back 2 spine crawlers and was able to kill off all of the zealots, and now he's killing off every single probe. Jaedong here is making a brilliant hold, a brilliant recovery, as all of these probes are gonna fall down, and surely at this point GunGFuBanDa can feel it in his body. GunGFuBanDa is having the hardest of times. He's going to stick it out by the looks of things, but it is all but done, Pig.
Absolutely, those drones are mining gold minerals, and there is a never-ending stream of Zerg that's coming across this map. These probes desperately trying to do something.
Look at that smile, GG! He takes the series, ladies and gentlemen. Jaedong advances on to Toronto after a insane hold there against that 2 proxy. GunGFuBanDa, he knows when he's been bested.
And hats off to him for trying such a build in such an important situation. But Jaedong he's looked into the face of death twice in this series, and both times he's somehow tricked himself out of death. He's got out of that situation. He's punched his way out of his grave.
Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. What a play out of Jaedong there to be able to hold on against that. That means now GunGFuBanDa will be playing against Elfie in the final series. So Elfie got his wish. That's who he wanted to play. And we are in for another crazy PvP.
Oh, I think GunGFu is handling it well. Look at that face. You know, he still seems kind of happy. He said, I went, I took the risk. I think that's fantastic. And I think we're going to see an amazing extra series after this. But right now, Jaedong must be just brimming with excitement at that hold.
I can only imagine. Obviously, GunGFuBanDa is one of the rising stars here in Europe. And, you know, we saw 3 very different games from him going up against what we're seeing from Jaedong there. But obviously, Jaedong, brilliant stuff, really cool stuff. I can only imagine in a pro gamer Zerg's shoes there, you are sweating a little bit when that kind of thing hits.
More than sweating. You know, I have a highlight video of one time on ladder holding a 3-hatch before pool, and it's on my YouTube, and I'm so proud of it. And it's this unimportant, useless situation. To win that on this stage, to go out of your group, Jaedong.
It's good stuff.
It's only Jaedong could do it.
All right, well, that means we can head over to the winner. Moving on to the round of 16, it's Jaedong.
JD, 2 times today, it's been so close, but you've come out the winner. Were you nervous every time? What did you think this time? I mean, game number 3, 3 hatchery, double gateway outside your base, the Zealots walk in. Did you say, oh, it's no problem, I'm Jaedong? What did you think? There it is.
I don't know. It happened only for me.
Only for you, just because it's you?
I don't know. Always close game. I think I'm always close to game.
Did you, with the gold base, you took the gold base. As soon as the Zealots came in, you knew exactly what you wanted to do. Drones to the gold, 3 spine crawlers. Have you practiced? Have you defended this type before?
Oh, it's first time.
First time try? Roddy?
I want to ask you a question about the second game, because game number 1, he surprises you with a big gateway attack. Game number 2, I think the start goes okay for you. And you want to make a big attack, but you lose your 4th base. You want to attack, and you see Dark Templar. Scary or not scary?
Not scary. Because didn't lost a drone, and if he made DT, then no army. I know, so just attack.
All right.
JD, you go into Canada, you go into the big stage. I see that smile. It's I mean you've had a slow 2015. You're now going to Canada. You're going to compete there. How well are you going to do? You're going to win this tournament for us? There's everyone here that wants you to win it. There's a lot of people at home that want you to win it. Are you good enough to win the season finals in Toronto?
Of course, will be better than now. I have a few weeks, so I will practice a lot. Then you guys can watch. I win.
One more question. I think it's very unique when a Korean StarCraft player travels overseas and plays in a foreign country, in this case Germany. You go up against a German player and the crowd is still chanting your name over and over again. Why do people love you so much, Jaedong? And how does it feel?
I don't know. I'm
Too sexy.
Yeah?
thank you.
And no doubt in Canada it's going to be the same. There's going to be a lot of people chanting Jaedong over and over and over. A few words to your fans here and the Canadians that are going to come watch you play in Toronto too. What do you have to say to them?
I will. Sorry. See you in Toronto.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jaedong, first place finisher of Group H. Every single time, Roddy, every single time Jaedong plays, it's always the same. Let's bring up the brackets now as we have one final game left to go this evening before we finish with the round of 32. And remember, we will be doing, Jaedong, you need to know this as well, we're going to be doing the groups for Toronto tonight. As soon as we finish with the last match, we will draw who plays who in Toronto. Our next match is going to be GunGFuBanDa as he attempts a second chance at going to Toronto. Or can the Finnish Protoss stop him in his tracks? We'll be right back here at the World Championship Series.
I move objects